1945, Opha May Johnson graduated salutatorian from Woods Commercial College. After her dedication, Johnson soon decided to serve her country by joining the United States Marine Corps. Opha May Johnson was first in line out of the other 304 women who followed in her footsteps. When she signed up, it was not allowed for any women to exceed the rank of sergeant. Therefore, she was known as Private Johnson. The women did not attend boot camp, but were trained at naval schools in order to graduate. Many of the tribulations that men went through to join were not necessary to be achieved by Opha and the other women. This is a contributing reason as to why the women who were enlisted during World War I were strictly used for desk duties in order to send as many men out to fight as possible. She mainly kept track of records regarding the other women who joined. Never was Opha allowed to fight for her country. Not only were the women not allowed to reach a certain rank, they were also called Marinettes rather than simply Marines. This was an easy way for people to tell the men apart from the women without question. At the end of the First World War, the branch started to discharge all women from their services. Opha included was relieved of her duties.
Well, look at you, aren't you quite the early bird? It's the first minute of the first hour of the first day you can possibly enlist, ma'am. Well, because of this, you're sure to be the first ever female authorized to serve in the United States Air Force. Oh, you've already served in the military, I see. Army, right? It looks like you've served in the Army.
Yes, sir.
And you were enlisted on March 21st, it says, in 1944, and you went to Miami until 1945?
Yes, sir.
What other jobs did you have down there?
I was hired as a civilian employee during the Second World War at the Miami Air Department. I also joined the Women's Army Corps. When the Air Force formed its own military branch, in 1945, I believe, I returned to the Army service, and now I wish to join the Air Force.
Well, it seems like you've had a lot of experience fighting in the forces. The first women recruits to sign up are to report at the Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. I can't help myself from asking Miss Blake, but why are you serving again? Why are you signed up again?
Well, I'm currently a widow. My husband passed, and on top of that, our 2 sons are fighting in the war right now. I just received horrid news that my eldest son is missing. He was shot down over Belgium. As well as my eldest son being missing, my second son, Lieutenant Tom Blake, is now missing as well. He was also shot down in his B-25 bomber right over Italy. I still have hope for both of them that they will return to me. I'm doing this for them, and I am also doing this for the chance to free a soldier from his or her clerical work. I also believe that I can help end this war earlier. If I can do this, my efforts will be worthwhile.
Esther Blake was enlisted in the Air Force and was on active duty during the years 1948 and 1954. She was a WAF, a woman in the Air Force. Even though she didn't participate in dogfights, bombings, and other crazy actions, she still served with honor and justice and flew planes, of course. Women in the Air Force normally worked with clerical or medical tasks. Her sons were both found. They suffered only minor wounds and one suffered a flooded chest, but they were both returned home safely. Mrs. Esther Blake remained on active duty until the year 1954. After 1954, she continued working and was an employee for the civil service in Montgomery, Alabama, at the Veterans Regional Headquarters. Esther Blake, the first woman in the Air Force, a true role model for female enlistees, a symbol that shows that patriotism is not defined by gender. Because of her courageousness enlisting in the Air Force, women back then as well as today look up to her as an idol and continue to be inspired by her actions. Unfortunately, all great hero stories must come to an end. Esther Blake passed away on October 17, 1979. 8 years after her death, I, the Air Force Staff Senior, dedicate this dormitory to honor and remember Staff Sergeant Esther Blake, the first woman to be enlisted in the Air Force. She showed women that they can do amazing things if they have the heart and the will to do so. We are happy to dedicate this dormitory here at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama to truly such an inspiring woman.
Loretta, you're crazy. I can't believe you actually want to sign up for the Navy. You're only 18, and a lady's place is not on the battlefield, but it's in a house or in a kitchen. I know women have been serving in the fighting forces ever since 1901, but only as nurses.
I know. But just imagine it. Fighting for the country that we love in the First World War ever? And think about all those single sailors. I would be the only Yowman.
A Yeoman? What in the blazing world is that?
A Yowman is a rank in the U.S. Naval Reserve. But instead of being called a Yowman, I'd be called a Yowette or a Yowwoman. So officers and other authority figures don't get confused with a man.
What would you even be doing? Cleaning floors, sewing torn uniforms, cooking hot meals?
No. I would be handling tasks such as preparing, typing and routing correspondence and reports, organizing and maintaining files, receiving office visitors and handling telephone communications, operating personal computers, word processing, duplicating and audio records, and other office machines, performing official personnel administration, maintaining records and official publications, performing administrative functions for legal proceeding, serving as office managers, performing over various clerical and administrative duties.
Wow. So, you really will be serving the country well, huh?
Yes, and that's exactly what I wish I would do.
So, you were enlisting?
Why, yes, I am.
Oh! I'm so glad you came home to visit.
Me too. I've had such an exciting journey.
You have to tell me all about it.
Well, when I first got there...
Oh my god. Wait. Is this you?
Yeah, it is. They asked me if I would be okay being featured on posters and such, since I'm the first woman enlisted. They're trying to get more women.
Okay, superstar. Alright, now you have to tell me all about it now.
Oh, do you remember that civil support union organization that I was working for since 1915? Well, they're the ones that really set me up to be a crewman enlisted. I was then transferred to a ship transportating troop without any basic training, but I did take classes at night. After a month of that, I was finally sworn in. My other Yowwoman friends acted as couriers, draftsmen, fingerprint experts, masters at arms, mess attendants, paymasters, recruitments, switchboard operations, and translators. I was also called to serve at the U.S. Navy home located at Philadelphia Shipyard.
Wow, they really are utilizing all the women. Do you have many friends there? How many women are enlisted?
Since April 6, 1970, over 200 women have joined me.
All due to your bravery and influence, no doubt.
Oh, letter from Catherine. Dear Miss Loretta Walsh, I am so terribly sorry.
Share this awful news with you. Unfortunately, your dear brother and loving mother have passed, either suffering from head wounds or their sicknesses. I have spoken to your doctor about your illness. You have contracted an irreversible disease. They believe this was contracted while on the naval boats from the fuel. On top of that, the influenza you contracted in the 1918 fall has developed into tuberculosis. Sincerely sorry, my dear friend. With all my love, Catherine Lowes.
Walsh's 4-year enlistment ended on March 17, 1921. She passed at the age of only 29. Her tangible self may be gone, but her spirit still rings throughout the whole Navy. She was an amazing woman, and we, her fellow comrades, dedicate this monument to keep alive forever memories of her sacrifice and her devotion of womanhood to this country.
The official Navy History Center hereby claim March 21st, 1917 as a grand date in naval history. Without her, the women would not have been inspired to enlist in the Navy during the time when the Navy desperately needed them. Her bravery and courage still inspires the ladies of America to come join the fighting forces to serve their country.
Though there are no official records of the first woman in U.S. history to serve for the Army, it does not mean there weren't women serving alongside their brothers and husbands. As far back as 1782, there are records of women disguising themselves as men. The ones who were caught were formally discharged. Many women in the U.S. Army's history have served and have greatly impacted our nation. However, none of them have been formally characterized as the first to enlist.
These women are true role models that have demonstrated genuine bravery, courage, persistence, and a love for their country.
These women led a revolution in the U.S. military and encouraged other women to do the same, perform this heroic action. They are all leaders of the women in the military today. They are all leaders that have left behind a legacy.
They encouraged women back then to take the valiant leap and enlist, but their stories, strengths of mind and character, as well as their audacity, still inspire women today to take that noble chance to change the world and protect something they love, their country.